Hello, everybody, and welcome back to DNS Runners, episode 16. We
Woo!
are now
No
post
way.
Chicago Marathon, and 2 of 3 of the DNS runners are no longer stressed.
Bold assumption. That's a bold assumption.
Can I tell you that stressed me out because I thought you were gonna say 2 of the 3 of us PR'd, and I was like, "Oop, not me."
Oh, I wasn't going to say that.
See, it stressed me out though.
All right, so no one is not stressed. Back to factory settings.
It turns out it wasn't the marathon stressing us out.
What?
It turns out that we are baseline always stressed.
Who would have thought?
Is that why we
How's it
started
going,
this?
guys? How's it going?
It's going.
How's everyone feeling?
We just got back from all of our travel on Sunday, so I am still like living out of a suitcase a little bit because I obviously have not had time to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my house just feels like absolute chaos. As you could probably see if you're watching the video of this, my gym is a trash panda behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a state of existence right now.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Took me a few days to unpack as well.
Yeah.
You guys didn't come home and just immediately empty the suitcase because you wanted all your stuff out of it?
Mike,
Well,
did you add has a Y chromosome underneath
No,
your
you-
name?
I was like, what's something funny I could put?
How did you do that?
If you click on it, you can add a title.
If we would have known this earlier, this would have been so much better. Alright, so for those, I don't know if this translates to the video at all, but
Well,
for,
it doesn't translate to audio very well. Basically, if
Okay.
you're listening to the audio of this and not watching the video, we have discovered today that in our podcast recording application, you can add little titles underneath each of our names. And Mike had initially added has a Y chromosome.
I was gonna
Which is how we realized
his
this.
favorite male, but I was like, no, I should do favorite Y chromosome haver, and like, nah, it has a Y chromosome.
Okay, so I'm thinking that we start this episode by talking about our travels to Chicago, our expo experience, and maybe race morning. And we'll see how long that takes us. And we might do the race itself in a second episode, just depending on the length.
Oh, look at us. I like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Kelly's muted.
Wah.
Sorry, there was a cat in the room. My husband was trying to get her out of the room.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Okay, so Katie, you went to Chicago first, so
I
I vote
did.
you kick us off with your travel tales.
Okay, so I left Friday morning to go, nice and early. My flight was at 8.
Did you have any
Um,
travel companions?
Did I have any travel companions? I was totally solo. So
And I will get a spoiler alert, guys. She made it to Chicago.
I made it there. I
Oh, you
did.
had the company of your anxiety bag tag.
I did have my
Can we, can we explain
my
this to the
anxiety bag. Let me tell you, my anxiety bag was a hit. People liked my anxiety bag. I'm not getting rid of it because I imagine that I'll still have anxiety next time I have to go somewhere. But I did make it. I was freaking out about getting there. I 100% will be honest. I cried 3 different times just going from the house to the airport in Chicago because I was so nervous. I was just nervous about everything. I knew I could do it, but I'm just talking about it right now. It's making me sweat. But I was super nervous. I knew I had to get on the plane. I knew, like, these are things that shouldn't bother me, but they do. So I knew I was, like, overcoming, like, a lot of my fears, and I was totally alone, so it was, like, freaking me out.
Yeah.
I will say that when I was in JFK Airport, there was, like, all this confusion. Like, I was on the TSA line, pre-check, and it was too long. Like, we had been standing there a really long time, and then this woman, like, directed us into the basement of the airport.
weirdest thing.
like
Like I've
holding
never
a sign. So we're all like,
turning.
where are we going? So then we end up in like the basement of the airport, and then we're standing on a TSA pre-check line that's still not moving. And so now I'm like, oh my God, I need to get through. Like I only have like 40 minutes at this point to get through. So someone came over and was like, one of the workers came over and was like, just go to the general line. There's not a soul on the
Oh
general
my
line. So
gosh.
I'm like, oh, okay. So I go to the general line and I'm like, well, now I'm on the general line. So I have to like take off my sweatshirt and take off my shoes and like do all these things. So I like get myself ready for general pre-check and I get up to it and they're like, what are you doing? You're TSA. So now I have to stand there and put everything.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm
It sounds
thinking, like, these
wonderful.
people don't know what they're doing to my anxiety levels right now. You know? Then I am like running through this damn airport that's so big. I didn't realize how big JFK is now. It's so big. And I'm like, I'm gonna pee myself. So I'm peeing and I hear Catherine Bell. Like, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss the fucking plane.
Oh
So
my
now I'm like,
god.
okay, I'm just gonna pee down my leg. So I get all the way to the gate and I'm like, I'm Catherine Bell. And she's like, hi. And I'm like, someone just called me like to get here, you know? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. She's like, maybe it was a different Catherine Bell in this airport. I'm like, possible. It's a somewhat common name, but I'm
Oh
like, what are
my
the fucking
gosh.
chances? Anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like, why are we not leaving? The plane ends up being delayed like over an
Oh.
hour. So it was just a very stressful process. Anyway, I made it. I made it to Chicago. As soon as I got to the hotel, I felt much better. My
Good.
friend Sean from For the Run had already been in town, so I texted him. It turned out that he was staying quite literally less than a minute from my hotel.
Oh, nice.
So we right away like connected. We went to like the expo together, which was so interesting to me since I've only ever been to New York City.
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was wildly crowded and I thought there was so much to look at that like I was like in stimulus overload.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a pre-COVID expo. Like this is the first
Oh
one I've
yeah.
been to since 2020 that was the big grandeur of an
Yeah.
expo.
Yes,
Oh,
and I
sure.
felt like there was no flow. Like when I'm in New York City, I feel like there's almost a flow to what I'm supposed to be looking at
I
as I go.
okay.
This one was like all the New Balance clothes in the front and then just shit everywhere behind it. And I actually I was there for a while and I didn't even get to see everything.
Oh
It was
wow.
Nike. It was Nike, not New Balance. You're used to New York
Oh,
right now.
Nike, I'm so
You're
sorry.
used to you're used to New York, whereas New Balance.
Get
No, this
your
is Nike.
branding straight.
This
I
was
apologize to
Nike.
every person who's ever run the Chicago Marathon.
Apologize to Mike's cousin Ryan.
I'm
Yes.
so sorry,
You worked very
Ryan.
hard on this expo.
I'm really sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm talking shit. But the Nike stuff was fine. It was the booths beyond it that I felt like there were too many aisles and I didn't know what I was doing. I'm also high strung. I could have just been freaking out for no reason, you know?
I definitely
Um,
had a little bit of crowd anxiety when I was at the expo because it was just like
yeah,
there are so many
It
people
was a lot of people.
here.
yes. But the coolest part of the expo for me personally was I got to meet Kate, who is the founder of Runner.
Yes.
And I got to meet Elmer, who is her partner in the business. I've been like following them since like 2018 or 2017. So like Kate to me has always been an inspiration because she's like this awesome runner who has two kids and just like one day was like running a race and was like, we should start like a hat brand. And I was like, I love her. She's such a boss. So it was so cool. I got to meet them. I thought it was a pretty good expo, although it was just a lot.
Yes, it was definitely a lot.
What about you guys? I know you guys were in the next day.
Yeah, so we had an early flight. I think it left at 7 a.m. So we left the house at like 4:30, 4:45. We flew out of JFK also. Luckily, we avoided all of like the construction because it was just so early in the morning. I traveled with my baby and my husband, And traveling with baby is just like such chaos. Like for me, it's that I always feel better like once my luggage is checked, and then I have much less crap to like trek through the airport with.
Yeah.
The baby was so good though. Like he did so well. Like the flight to Chicago. So we don't really give him like an iPad or anything in day-to-day life. Travel is our one, like we'll bring the iPad and let him like putz as he sees fit. And I discovered guided access on the iPad recently, so like I can lock the screen and he can't do anything with it, and it was the best. Like he literally sat there and watched Cars for like probably half the flight, and then we read Wheels on the Bus 12 times. Had some snacks. This was not the first. It was, we didn't get a seat for him on this flight, just because like it was very expensive weekend to fly. So we actually had somebody in our row that was going to spectate the Chicago Marathon, and his wife was running. Like, I swear that whole plane was just people running the Chicago Marathon.
For sure.
But, yeah, he did really good on the plane. He did pee through his diaper and onto my lap, so I had that going for me by the end of the night. Well, I didn't pee my own pants. My pants were peed for me. And we did the adventurous thing. So I am a chronic overpacker. That's one thing about me. Like, I'm going to bring too much stuff. And I almost killed my husband because I also decided, like, that... So I don't really like putting my kid into Ubers, and I wasn't going to rent a car in Chicago because it's just, like... I don't want to drive in the city. I don't want to just park the car somewhere for 3 days. So I had decided that we were going to take, like, the L just to the hotel. It was a 40-minute ride on their I think their version of the subway is called the L. I could be calling it the wrong thing. I'm sorry, Chicago, if I am.
The blue line.
The blue line.
Well, we took the orange line also, but
I took blue.
my dad, when I called it the subway the other day, was like, "I think it's the L there," and I was like, "I don't really know, Dad. I'm sorry."
It's a subway.
You know better than me.
Yeah.
Because he said it's elevated as opposed to being underground, depending on which line you're on.
Let's
So we took whatever their train system is called to our hotel. It was absolutely fine. We luckily, going to the hotel, got like a brand new car, so there was plenty of space for the luggage. But then, like, the 5 to 10 minute walk from where we got off the train to the hotel, poor Dennis was carrying like 2 big rolly bags as I just like loaded everything else into the stroller. The way he looked at me like, I'm gonna kill you for this.
Yeah.
I did, when we went back on the subway, completely repack the luggage to condense us down to have one less bag, and he appreciated that.
Wow. That's good. He was carrying so much shit. I was like,
So much shit. I'll post a picture to the page of us on the subway, because everybody will get a laugh out of the amount of stuff that I brought to Chicago. Because we were going to Georgia to visit family right after. So we were away for a week, and when you travel with a baby, it just requires so much stuff.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it really does.
We got to the hotel. We met up with Katie. She took pity on us because our room was not ready when we got there and let us leave all of our stuff in her room instead of storing it with bag check. And then set out to find food while we waited for Mike to arrive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And how was your travel?
Is that my cue?
That's your cue.
We'll get on stage.
All right. Drop lines. All right. So my flight was about 2 hours after Kelly's because she had offered a ride, but I was like, I don't want to be at the airport 3 hours early for this flight. I would have lost my mind. So Jude and I left. Mom drove us to the airport, so it was just the two of us. Flight was.
So if you're listening right now, we've once again changed their titles, as we all seem to be doing as this podcast
It's my new favorite thing. Everyone, if you're listening to this,
Katie had updated to almost peed pants at airport. Mike had updated to did not pee himself. So then I naturally had to respond with had her pants peed for her.
So I will say I changed mine to did not pee himself when Katie was telling her story about peeing herself. So no one, and there's, I do apologize in advance, no one peed themselves in my story of there was no accidents of that sort.
Judy makes it more fun.
Okay, Jude, you hear that? He's listening to this, so he's listening
to spoilers!
Episode 16, Jude, listen, you gotta, yes.
Oh, I thought you meant he was in the room right now.
Oh, no, he's in the other room.
Spoilers!
Doors closed. But he's listening as in, like, he's getting a shout out right now.
Yeah.
Shout out, Jude. Find a way to get Mike peed on. Get a new dog or something. Don't pee on him yourself.
Thanks. But yeah, the flight was, I would say, uneventful. We just watched Agatha All Along, which
Oh, so good.
so good. Cannot wait for tomorrow's episode.
What? I don't even know what that is.
Agatha All Along. It's
Okay, so it's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's one of the shows on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Did you watch
It's like
WandaVision?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a
You
spin-off.
guys, I don't watch anything if it's not like about a murderer.
I mean, WandaVision is kind of about a murderer.
So is Agatha All Along, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
No, I'm like talking real life serial
No, I know.
killers. I love
Yeah,
them.
we know. Oh, we know.
Marvel isn't real life.
Maybe for some. Shh, Bryce doesn't know yet.
Oh.
So we landed. We didn't check any bags, so it was straight off the plane, and we were able to go right to the train. Once we landed, I was getting all the texts like, "Oh, where are you going?" I was getting their updates on where they're meeting. Mike, we're gonna go here. Wait, no, we're gonna go here. Wait, this one's right next to it.
As we try to find a place to eat.
Yes. So Jude and I got off, took the train. It was fine. It was getting kind of crowded after we got, like, 2 or 3 stops after we got on. It was very, very crowded, and I was like, hello, everyone.
Yeah.
So we got into the hotel, just check on the room. My room happened to be ready.
We wound up being the only ones our room was not ready until after 4 p.m., which was the check-in time. And of course, like, I have the baby with me that
I
needs
thought
milk.
that was so strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Not that like the hotel, like, how do I put this? Like, they should have accommodated it just because you had a kid. You know what I mean? Like, they really should have.
Yeah. At least I had Mike, who willingly let my baby nap in his room.
Yeah, that's true.
So thank you both for letting me use your hotel rooms that day.
Yep. And no one was in my bed, so.
Yeah, so we wound up going to like a Mediterranean place for lunch. I think it was called like Emma's or Emily's.
Emma, but it was EMA. It was only one
Okay.
M.
I knew it was along those
It was
lines.
Emma.
Emma was great.
We
It was
happened
like, what, a block
upon
and a
it.
half from the hotel?
Yeah, as it was opening. And it was just so freaking good. The waiter came over when we got there and was like, this is like a family style, like do 2 or 3 small plates. I think we all ordered 2 plates and it was like way too much food.
It was, like 3 plates I would have vomited.
I had the house-made hummus and like, I wish I could eat that every single day.
I had like their poached egg that had
I'm
like
blanking. I'm having like a blackout moment. What did I eat?
I
You
had
had
like
avocado
a
toast.
Parmesan
You're right, I
cream
did.
in mine.
Thank you.
Katie's
It had pomegranate seeds on it.
Wait,
Yes,
what
the
did
pomegranate
you
seeds
have?
were very good.
Solid. And then we got
Wait.
Jude and I split a Bloody Mary for that.
Fancy. All right. So once we all had eaten, Mike and I headed to the expo.
With Jude.
Katie went to have some downtime at the hotel. And we sent Dennis and Baby back to hotel to nap.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we wound up Ubering to the expo, and oh my god, it was the scariest Uber ride of my
Oh my
life.
gosh.
Was it?
Yes.
Did we not explain this to you?
No.
We
Okay.
might have been too stressed out at the time.
So, this guy was like, nice guy.
Yeah, totally friendly when he picked us up. Had fine Uber ratings.
Yeah. And then
Um,
he starts driving. He's like, would you guys mind if I went, like, off the GPS? Like, all of us froze. 3 of us froze in the backseat.
Literally, like you're asking the 3 most stressed out people this question. Like, no, I want you to follow the exact map that my phone says you're going to follow because I don't know you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, I feel like you might know more, but, like, the GPS. He's like, okay, and then didn't follow the GPS.
Yeah, he's
So-
like, oh, yeah, you're nervous. I'll follow the GPS. He did not follow the GPS.
Really?
Like, just straight up lied. And the second we got onto the highway, he accelerated so hard that I was like pinned back to the seat.
Under the bridge, too.
Yeah.
It was like, we're under a bridge. And we're like in some sort of tunnel, and he's just like...
All I can think is like, so I'm the one that it was a Lyft and not an Uber. I don't want to slander Uber here. All I can think is like, I ordered this Lyft, and like if I was like, I'm obviously a girl in my Lyft profile. Like if I was by myself, I'd be fucking terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I would have been like, let me out of this car right now.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It was... That was scary. It was...
Yeah.
And then there was the one guy. Then some guy tried cutting him off, and then was screaming and cursing at him like, "Yo, basically like, I'll shoot you. I was like, oh.
Like, he was screaming, and they were literally doing the thing where, like, one car inches forward, the other one aggressively goes in front, the other one goes in front, the other one goes in front. And they're screaming at each other at the top of their lungs.
Are you being serious, right?
I swear. And then it was like our driver had like an aha moment where he remembered that he had freaking passengers in the car and was suddenly like, I'm so sorry, and like tried to get the other guy to go and like leave him alone, and the other guy like pulls up window to window and screaming more, and it was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I would have freaked the fuck out.
And then to try to calm us down, the Uber driver turns to us and says, oh, well, it could have been worse. Sometimes they point a gun at you.
You're lying.
I'm not. I swear to God.
This was the worst. That was like the worst 15 minutes.
You
of my
guys
life.
saw the Chicago I was scared of.
Literally, and it wasn't on the subway.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we finally get within eyeshot of McCormick Place, and there's traffic, and we're like, we'll get out of here.
Let's just get out. Like, let us out here. We'll walk.
I'm so sorry that happened. I can't stop laughing.
All I could think was like, thank God there are two people in the car with me right now, because if I was by myself, I would have shit myself.
Can you imagine if I was with you guys?
You would have left Chicago. You'd be like, I'm going back to New York. Forget this.
I'll run home. See ya.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we made it to the expo in one piece, barely.
Oh my god,
One
it's
Piece?
so creepy.
Yeah.
In peace.
So we got to the expo, and it was quite a long walk into the expo.
It was,
so
what was that,
It was a
6 miles?
It was a hike. Like,
Yeah.
it was the back of McCormick Place. Like,
Why was it 6 miles long?
Literally. The last time I ran Chicago was 2021. So it was the first Chicago back from COVID. And when you first walk in, there was that room like to your right that they were like had cranes and stuff in. They seemed like they were. We had to queue in that room last time, like a weaving pattern with like 6 feet apart everywhere, so that they could check your vaccine status and then put a bracelet on you. And it took like an hour and a half to get through that queue last time.
Holy shit.
It was crazy.
That's crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I was glad I didn't have to do that this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we basically walked all the way to the back of McCormick Place, right? McCormick Place, is that the right name?
Yeah, I think so.
McCormick Center.
Place sounds good to me.
And you have to go through security, especially if you have a bag. And as I said, do not travel light. So obviously I had a bag. They check your bag. Then with Chicago, they actually send you a QR code that you can download onto your phone. So with Chicago, they send you like a little participant email where you get a QR code, which I think mine came in the mail before Katie's and Mike's a few weeks ago, and they spent a whole day stressing out about it.
Yeah, what was that?
Like for some
Ours
reason,
was like
here's
what?
entrance
Ours was like
information, but
10
we're not gonna
hours
send it to
later,
two
wasn't it?
people.
Yeah, and you guys panicked all day. Like, are we running? Are we running?
That is
Chicago
6
marathon?
p.m.
Are we
Well,
invited?
I started
You got it
doing
like
that
9:30 in the
thing.
morning. Mine was at 6 p.m. I'm like,
I started
guess
doing
I'm not
that
running.
weird thing where I was like, did I really sign up for this? You know what I mean? And I started like
I'm getting all the
questioning
emails
if I
for it,
really
but,
was
like,
running
bro.
it.
Yeah. No, I get that.
And I happened to ask my other friend, Mike, I'm like, Kelly just got her QR code, and did you get yours? And he's like, no. And 10 seconds later, he's like, yeah, I got it. And I was like, oh my God, I totally made up that I signed up for this race.
So, since we all had our QR codes by the time the expo happened,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Once we had the things and we got in, seamless. That
Yeah,
was the
so-
quickest they've ever got into an expo. Once
Absolutely.
scanned, they were like, oh, you're going to go to this table, you're going to go to this table, here's your stuff.
Yep, scan, check your ID. They give you a table number. You walk over to the table number. The volunteers at that table are waiting for you. So it's not even like they then have to thumb through because they get like a little message saying, hey, Kelly's walking over to you right now.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to our booths, they were ready and waiting. They were super friendly. And we got our little packets.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little envelope full of race bib.
Yeah.
That was a priceless artifact. Holy moly.
Yeah, so from there, we got directed onto the main show floor for the expo.
Mm-hmm.
Like Katie said before, the first thing you see is all of the Nike merch because they're the title sponsor, or the athletic sponsor for the race. I don't know if they're I guess it's Bank of America is the title sponsor.
Bank of America, yeah.
So they're the athletic apparel sponsor for the race.
Yes.
So they had like a big central area to the expo. I will say we went Saturday towards the end of the day. Most of the stuff was sold out by the time that we were
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah.
I had to order my sweatshirt online.
I showed so much self-control, guys. I did not buy any of that merch.
Neither did I.
I bought this.
I love the purple jacket, and
I
like
love
right
that
now,
purple
I feel like I wish I had one. Yeah, but I have one from the first time I ran Chicago. It's not as nice as the purple, but I said to myself, if you're gonna buy a new one, you have to get rid of the old one, and I can't get rid of the old one. So
You can't get rid of. I have a rule: you never get rid of a marathon jacket. I'm sorry.
and that's how I feel too. And the problem is, I own like I've run 11 marathons, and sometimes I've bought more than one jacket, like a sweatshirt and a jacket. So I probably have, between marathons and half marathons, 40 articles of long sleeve clothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is just like,
I
it's
know.
a
I've only
lot.
done 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so we got into the expo. They had a lot of cool photo ops set up.
Yeah.
So we
I
made
love
our
the
way through
marathon
those.
sign, like the Nike branded signage they had was
The
all of them were cracking
Nike,
up.
the Nike signs were the freaking coolest things, and
Yeah.
I loved every single one of them.
was-
I was so impressed with it.
I feel like it encapsulated a lot of like our mentalities, like because it was like the negative thought crossed out into the positive thought. I'm like, that's on brand for us.
I
But, like,
actually
I feel like a
went.
lot of runners go through that as well. It's like,
Yeah,
like F this marathon, but it's like, no, this marathon was fantastic. This marathon changed my life.
I actually
Yeah.
went to the Nike store and bought 2 of the shirts.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
you were lucky and got in. Ryan kept asking me, like, did you manage to get to the Nike store? I'm like, no, the line was wrapped around the block. I couldn't get in.
I went Friday. Like I
Yeah.
went, before the rush. Like the shirts I bought are giant, but I was like, I don't
Yep.
care if they don't fit me. I'll wear them as dresses.
Yeah. Yeah. So our first stop at the expo, we headed over to the Raw Threads booth because our friend Kate was working. So we went and said hi to Kate. And she had picked up, so Brooks had a booth with Fleet Feet, and they had a nice half zip and a nice Lux tank that I was coveting very much. And I knew by the time I got there Saturday, my sizes would be sold out, so she was nice enough to pick those up for me. And she even made me a little friendship bracelet that was like Chicago Marathon themed. It was so sweet.
That's really cute.
So it was nice. So we got to hang out with her for a little bit, and we met up with another member of the Brooks team, who also lives in New York. Like, it's one of those things where we've definitely been at the same Roadrunners races, but beyond Hype Fest, we hadn't like ever met in real life.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and he wound up hanging out with us for most of the expo. So once after we hung out with Kate for a little bit, we walked to the back to like pick up our shirts and everything. And that delay might have screwed Mike out of his little accessories in his shirt package.
My,
Yeah.
my plastic bag was empty. It had a shirt in it.
Yeah.
So-
That was it.
And when we
A shirt.
got Mike's shirt, we didn't really think anything of it until we walked over to my shirt.
Loaded
And-
with things.
When we like picked it up, I had like a race belt in there. I had some free samples. I had a little bottle of electrolytes. Like it was like all these little goodies, and we were like, "What the heck?"
I had 0 things in mine, and I said, I even went back and I was like, hey, my bag's empty. Like, yeah, some of the boots ran out. I'm like, can I get someone
Like,
else's?
isn't that weird that like they couldn't just like shift the I don't know, whatever.
I don't know. I didn't like that, but
It was
it's
weird.
fine. I got a lot of dude wipes.
Yes,
Everyone-
I did
everyone
do
gave
the
me dude
kind
wipes.
thing and gift my dude wipes.
Yeah, so everyone
Yeah.
gave me dude wipes.
Did you
so I
try
had
the belt?
I actually did not. I was gonna do it tomorrow because I'm gonna go for a little run.
Oh,
today,
good. I just wanted to know how it is, like if it's a good belt.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and run a little bit tomorrow.
Have you
Um,
guys ran?
No,
Oh God.
my tattoo is still healing, so
I
Oh,
just got
it's at the end of the healing process. So I was like, I can run with it now, but
I mean,
it's just
I'm like
hitting
very
dry. I
jealous.
forgot about this part. Tattoo dry out. Like my leg, I was like, I'm lotioning it 19 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, the rest of my skin doesn't even get this dry. But the tattoo's over here, like, what?
Yeah, yep.
Every time I get one, I forget that it does this.
Yeah. No, and I will say, like, there was just recently another female runner that was killed while running, and anytime that happens, I have a ton of anxiety about running by myself after that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I just, like I thought about going out last night, but it was dark and I just could not talk myself into it.
It's really scary because it wasn't even dark. Like, it's just...
No, it was like mid-afternoon, wasn't it?
And it was like in a crowded area too. It wasn't even like she was in some remote dark area by her. Not that it's okay if it's a remote dark area. It just like makes it very
not,
real.
but you always feel a little bit more safe if you're running somewhere that's
In the
populated.
daylight around people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did not go out last night. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll get out there eventually. I just I'm not there yet.
Enjoy it, man. Enjoy not having to do this, all right? This is rough.
I don't know. What do you think? If I went on the Roadrunners website right now, do you think there's still a virtual queue? Can I sign up for the United Half now?
Dude, was there still a queue?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't actually looked.
The queue for the I haven't retired from that race yet, so maybe I'll try the lottery. But
The lottery. I'm excited. My cousin Jen, her husband Will, has just recently started running. He just did his first 5K.
how'd that go?
Good. He was really happy with it.
Okay, good.
But we were down in Georgia visiting them and their daughter, and we were talking about half marathons because he had said his whole thing is like he wants to work up to a half marathon. I was like, so you're gonna enter the lottery and come visit me in New York? Yeah. So I'm hoping he gets that one. We'll see what happens.
If I get it this year, someone has to make it go.
Little things.
Kelly, do you remember last year, Kelly? We were like, let's only go if it's really nice out, and then all week we were like, pray for rain, pray for rain, pray for rain.
Yeah.
And
spoiler, friends, we did not go.
Neither of us went, and it was the most beautiful day.
Oh yeah, I do remember. I mean, I wasn't there, but I do remember that day being extra nice. And
it was like impeccable weather for the New York City half.
Yeah. So, we're at the expo. We got our shirts, and then we started the freebie rounds, which are the most fun part of an expo, in my opinion.
Pedialyte.
Okay, we literally got 9 packs, like boxes of Pedialyte, where there are 8 packs in every box. I looked it up on Target. A 4-pack of those is $5.
Yeah.
Almost $100 of Pedialyte.
It's expensive.
That's crazy. Yeah. I will say it came in handy because when we went to Georgia, so we stayed at my cousin's house for 2 nights, and then we went to a cabin for 3 nights. And there was a lot of drinking once the babies were in bed at the cabin, and everybody was just pounding the Pedialyte constantly.
Listen, I brought I had Jude make one for the race, but we'll talk about that next week. But we were at a wedding just this weekend, and we had them in our jacket pocket. Right after dinner came out, I'm like, let me just put a little... I made myself a little Pedialyte for before the after dinner.
Good for you.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where, like, when I get hydration like that for free, like, I will share it with everybody, whereas, like, my Noon, I'm keeping in my pocket, and I might not share that flavor with everybody else. So mind your business if I'm drinking Noon while you have Pedialyte.
I didn't get a single free thing while I was there.
We got BioFreeze patches.
I think it's because we were at the end of the expo, so like all of the vendors were starting to pack up, and I get the impression like they didn't want to ship their product back with them, so they were just trying to clear it out. Yeah. Like the first time we walked by the BioFreeze booth, we got handed 2 patches, and the next time we got 3 patches, and by the end of the expo, I had 7 patches.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they were throwing them at us,
and that was really nice to have after the race, I will say.
Oh my gosh, I put them on both legs.
I mean, I know we're not talking about it yet, but my god, was I in pain that night.
Spoiler alert, everyone was in pain in the same area. No matter who I talked to, everyone said they were at that same part of that same muscle area was in agony.
Is that just because of it was a flat
I think it was the
course?
So it might have been because of the wind.
This might be completely wrong. Here's my theory. Because the last time I ran Chicago, I tweaked my hip so bad that I was crying by mile 23. Like, could hardly walk. Dennis had to, half carry me back to the hotel. It was on the damn bridges because the grading is so weird and such an uneven surface that you have to change your gait to run over it.
I was literally bunny hopping.
Exactly. So it's not like your normal running gait when you go over those bridges. And I think at that point in the race, it can be enough of a change that you fuck stuff up.
Yeah.
But,
could be.
So,
I know a lot of people having issues with, just from people I talked to, everyone's like, this wasn't my best race, but, And like, I'm like, oh yeah, what hurts? Like, yeah, that. I'm like,
And then there's the woman that casually, set the world record for
yeah, she did fine.
women.
Yeah. She did. She did not have issues. She was the only one. I
Okay.
didn't talk to her though, so that's why. So I didn't talk to. I was
Shoot
very
her a message
disappointed.
real quick, Mike.
Hey, how are you? How
Maybe
are
she's
your
somewhere
how
right
are your
now complaining
thighs?
about how much her body hurts.
Maybe. Or maybe she's like running New York in a week. I think it's CJ Alberson, I want to say, who just ran Chicago and is doing New York too.
I know an asshole doing that.
Oh man. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we did lots of laps at the expo. We tried lots of free samples. We got our fill. We took lots of pictures with all the photo ops.
Yes.
Tom, who was the Brooks teammate that we were walking around with, he had already gone to the expo but had kind of like rushed the first time, so he was very much into playing photographer for us, which I appreciated immensely.
That's awesome.
I'll also say that like Chicago, that expo had decent lighting. Like sometimes you go to these expos and it's like terrible lighting and all of your
It's like
pictures
warehouse
just look
lighting
like
sometimes.
garbage.
But
Yeah.
except for that one photo where the sun was directly
Oh
behind.
yeah, that was just a window problem.
Yeah.
The windows.
I took like 2 photos there. I should have done more, but I have no patience, you know that.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
But yeah, so once we finished at the expo, we wound up walking like a block away
It got
from
lit.
updating our listeners on our current
Mine
title.
just says asshole.
Katie's an asshole. Mike got Pedialyte, and I am not great at sharing. This is the things you miss out if you're not watching this on YouTube. You know that, and which hat is Katie wearing?
Yeah,
It's a
that
different
too.
hat.
I didn't wear
I
a hat.
saved this one for tonight. This was one of my Chicago purchases. This is from
That's cute.
Oh wait,
Heartbreak,
that-
which is one of my favorite running brands.
Fun.
Yeah.
Um,
How many hats did I come home with? I came home with quite a few.
I didn't acquire any hats this time around. I did acquire
I like your hood.
another smart water bottle.
You did, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
kind of cool
I have
that
to
you
see
got
if
that
mine's
for
my
free.
app still. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we have to make a little team, Mike.
That's pretty
Yeah, I
cool
got
that you got that.
I
Yeah,
love
no,
water all day.
I did get
I
this
should get
cool
credit for
sticker.
it.
Wait, hold on. Where's my camera?
Oh, that is a great sticker. It says 26.2 Chicago.
I came home, ordered a brand new water bottle to match.
Aw, that's really cute. But yeah, so when we left the expo, it was crazy. So we opted to walk like a block away because there was surge pricing on all of the ride shares.
Uh-huh.
And we walked a block away, like, was half the price.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, we had an uneventful ride back to the hotel.
Imagine you got the same guy.
Honestly, I would have been like,
canceled.
no, I'm not getting in your car. And then, like, I hate that it wouldn't let me, like, so the whole thing with, like, ride shares is I know that, like, they really rely on their ratings, and if you don't give them a 5, it, like, really, really dings them terribly. But I'm the person that, like, knowing this feels like I have to give them a 5 even if it's terrible, but I was like, I can't give this guy a 5. I was terrified.
Were you able to like put in a note or anything?
You can, yeah, you can be like, I had a concern for my safety.
Did you do
But
that?
then no, because I get in my head of like, this is this guy's livelihood, and I don't want to like,
Kelly!
I feel so bad.
No, he told us he has another job. He works like finance. He said.
Yeah,
He's on the
no,
side.
I just quit out of the app and tried to get it to not make me leave anything.
Can I tell you a really funny story that has nothing to do with this? I'll make it quick though. Darren and I go to New York City for like a staycation a couple of years ago. We're staying in New York City and we were
He shit
going.
his pants.
We were what?
Did he shit his pants?
He did not shit his pants.
Okay.
That's true. But we were going out to dinner and it was 17 degrees out. We went in January. So we were like, let's not walk. Let's take an Uber or a Lyft. So
Yeah.
he goes on Lyft and he gets us a car and it's only like probably a 10-minute drive. And we're in the car. The second we get in the car, we're both like this because it smelled so bad in the car. The car stunk. And now I can't look at him because like if I look at Darren, I'm going to be hysterical laughing, you know, because Darren's in the back like this. and I've got my head in my shirt. We're trying not to make eye contact with each other. We're both like
Oh
low
my
key
God.
giggling, right? So we get out of the car and we're both like gasping for breath. he goes on
Oh
he goes on Lyft and he leaves like a rating. It's he puts in the comments, he puts in the comments like car was smelly.
no!
Okay. So now we're like laughing about it at dinner, whatever. We're like, that's so, it was just such a funny thing. So then
Uh-huh.
we're leaving the restaurant and I'm like, he's like, oh, I used Lyft. Let me use Uber this time. So he goes on Uber and he gets us an Uber. We're waiting outside. The Uber comes like 10 minutes later and we're walking to the car and I'm like, wait a minute. So while he opens the door, he looks back at me like, wait a minute, don't I know this car? We get in. It's the same fucking car.
Oh my God.
But now he has doused the car in cologne.
Oh
I have never in my life laughed harder than I did that night. We were crying in the back seat, like trying not to make noise because clearly he knew it was.
no! I wonder if he realized you guys were the same people too.
He definitely didn't. And then we got it. It was so awkward.
Did you just write car was stinky again? But from Cologne.
I don't know what he wrote, but we got out of the car and I was like, what is the likelihood of that in New York City?
Really though.
It
I
was,
mean, two
He did
different apps
that too.
too.
it was really good. It was a very good Darren moment.
I appreciate that. I think on that note, we are going to bring part one of our Chicago Marathon saga to a close, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
So next time we will talk about
Oh my
our
God.
pre-race
So
dinner,
if
race
we
morning.
can, if we can do that like earlier next week, because next week I will be very busy preparing.
Yes.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
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 I love you guys.
I love
Love
you too.
you. We
We also
did
want to hear about the New York training. Wait, before we go, Katie, give us a quick rundown. Quick
Oh, yeah.
rundown.
Oh, yeah, please.
Quick rundown of what?
Your
Of your
training
training
from
since
New
last
York.
week.
Okay, so I am in week 2 of maintenance. I gave myself 48 hours off after Chicago Marathon and
Insane.
started running again. My first run back, I was like, I'm going to die. And then my second run back, I was like, I'm definitely dying. And then I went out this weekend. I was supposed to run an hour and 45 minutes, but I only ran an hour and 20. I felt like the work is done. At this point, it's maintenance. I'm not gaining or losing anything at this point with my fitness. I am questioning my life choices every time I have to go run right now. But I'm getting there. I ran this morning. I felt good.
Good.
I had a moment of insanity yesterday where I was like, I think I could race this. And then
Katie.
no, and then about an hour later I was like, I'm not racing this.
Oh man.
So far so good, guys. I'm still sore. So like I feel like I'm not gonna not be sore until like December.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's going.
And on that note, thank you to all of our 12 loyal listeners for coming with us on this adventure. Now you know we finished the Chicago Marathon, and we hope you are waiting with bated breath to hear about just how much we struggled through that race. All right, good night, guys.
Good night.